What if the most transformative ritual for awakening your spirit happens when the world is asleep, and the only sound is the echo of your own heart? Imagine a night practice whispered across centuries, refined in the inner sanctum of mystics, and articulated with luminous clarity by Ibn Arabi, for Sheikh Olakbahu's words of guided seekers, through the dark toward a dawn within. Tonight, we begin that ritual. It is not a performance but a journey, not a technique but a return. If you have ever felt that your life moves on the surface while something deeper silently calls your name, this is for you. Stay with me. By the end of this night, and the ones that follow, you'll know how to step into a space where the soul remembers its own light. Night is not merely the absence of day, it is the sanctuary of meaning. The early community knew this, and the prophet stood through the hush of pre-dawn, when the heart is soft and the world is thin. The Quran addresses the one wrapped in his cloak, urging him to rise and stand by night, because those hours shape the soul and steady the word. In this ritual, we don't chase marvels or visions, we seek sobriety, warmth, and clarity. We enter the hours when everything slows enough for the real to be felt. Ibn Arabi hints that these are the moments when the world loosens its grip, and the heart begins to see what daytime noise hides. For Ibn Arabi, the night is a mirror. He writes in Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyah that the cosmos is imagination, a ceaseless unveiling where the real discloses himself through forms. In the silence after midnight, that unveiling is more visible, not to the eyes but to the inner sight. He calls The ritual you're about to learn is simple in practice, yet oceanic in depth. It gathers your scattered senses, tunes them toward the one, and lets the heart polish itself until it reflects. This is not escapism, it's the most intimate engagement with reality, where being and awareness discover they have always been companions. The structure is a cord of 3 strands, braided into one vigil. First, you enter silence and intention, reorienting your inner compass. Then you stand in a short prayer and remembrance, not out of obligation, but out of love and proximity. Finally, you sit, breathe, and travel in the imaginal, the sacred isthmus. Ibn Arabi calls the barzakh, where meanings take gentle form, and your heart learns its language again. Throughout, the tone is tender and dignified. There is no strain. The point is not to conquer the night, but to let the night soften you until you yield to what is always already here. Consider the story of a friend of God from long ago, a young Abraham contemplating the heavens. He saw a star, then a moon, then the sun rise and fade, and by watching their setting, he recognized a light that does not set. The Quran recounts that journey of looking and letting go, a movement from form to source, from brightness to the one who gives brightness. That is the posture of this ritual, a willingness to look, to release, to be led beyond the obvious. Like Abraham, you will be invited to notice what captivates you, watch it pass, and remain loyal to the light that remains. Begin before you begin. Prepare a little corner of the night, a clean space, a simple mat, a glass of water. Let the screens sleep. Rinse your hands and face. Feel the coolness as a reset, an external sign of an internal turning. Set an intention in a single sentence. I am present for the real, with the real, by the real. Intention is the key that opens the inner chamber. Ibn Arabi would call this adaba, refined courtesy that aligns your outer form with your inner aim. You're not conjuring an experience, you're accepting an invitation. Now the first movement, silence and breath. Sit comfortably, spine dignified, shoulders released. Place your attention lightly on the heart's region, not as an anatomy lesson, but as a locus of meaning, the center where awareness feels at home. Breathe in and out through the nose, letting the breath become a bridge. Count a few cycles to gather yourself, then let the counting go. If thoughts approach, smile at them and let them pass like clouds. Ibn Arabi often echoed the ancient saying, "He who knows himself knows his Lord." In this quiet, self-knowledge is not analysis, it is recognition. a dawning familiarity with the one moving your breath. The second movement, a brief standing prayer, 2 cycles if you are able, offered with tenderness. Read or recite what you know, even if it is little. Sincerity gives small verses the power of oceans. The Quran speaks of a portion of the night made special as an extra nearness, a gift reserved for those who return at that hour. Let the bow be a yielding, the prostration a homecoming. The body teaches the soul by doing what the soul longs to do. Bow in wonder before the one who is nearer than the nearest. If you cannot stand, sit. If you cannot recite, listen. If you cannot speak, intend. The third movement is remembrance, dhikr and watchfulness, muraqabah. Sit again. With your breath, begin to pronounce the name that gathers all names, letting it ride the exhale until sound becomes almost silent. Or choose a divine name that calls you now, Al-Hay, the ever-living, An-Nur, the light. Let the name polish the mirror of your heart. Ibn Arabi teaches in the Fuses Al-Hikam that we are the loci of divine self-disclosure, the places where the real looks at himself. Remembrance is the gentle polishing that lets that gaze be clear. Now, open to the imaginal. Do not force images, receive meanings. Perhaps you sense your heart as a lamp covered in fine dust, each breath removing a grain. Perhaps you feel seated at the shore of a night sea, hearing the tide as your pulse. The imaginal, in Ibn Arabi's language, is not fantasy. It is a world where meanings wear forms, so the heart can understand them. If an image comes, greet it. Ask what it points to. If nothing comes, rest in the name. Trust the subtle alchemy that happens when you stop trying to become and simply consent to being. Close, gently. Offer a brief prayer for those you love and those you struggle to love. Sip water, anchoring what is subtle into the body. Write a line or two. What word stood out? What feeling lingered? Don't evaluate, witness. Ibn Arabi says in Al-Futuhat that love is the measure of knowledge, and knowledge is tasted, not hoarded. If your night yielded quiet, that is a taste. If it yielded restlessness, that is also a taste. Both are accepted. The ritual is not graded. It is grown, night after night, like a garden that knows how to bloom. We have set the foundation, intention, stillness, prayer, remembrance, and the imaginal opening of the heart. In the next part, we will deepen this ritual into a living journey, exploring how to read the signs that arise, how to walk through inner veils with compassion, and how Ibn Arabi's teachings on love and unity turn night into a teacher. You have lit the candle of night. Now we learn how to keep its flame steady when winds arise within. The ritual becomes a conversation, your heart listening to the real speaking through signs and subtle shifts. The Quran hints that a portion of the night is extra closeness, a hidden reserve for those who rise. And Ibn Arabi teaches that what comes in those hours must be handled with courtesy, steadiness, and love. Tonight, we begin to read without rushing, to receive without grasping, to move from experience seeking to meaning seeing. Ask yourself gently, what did last night reveal, even if it was only restlessness? What if that, too, is a doorway offering to be entered with patience and trust? Ibn Arabi calls the heart a mirror, and every mirror needs polishing. When you meet distraction, it is not failure. It is the cloth arriving in your hand. Breathe, return to the name, and practice at Bud the refined etiquette of presence. The Sheikh Al-Akbar reminds us in Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyah that the cosmos is imagination, not as in unreality, but as in a living theater where meanings put on forms to be recognized. So if an old memory surfaces during the vigil, do not wrestle it, bow to what it signifies. Ask, what longing is it pointing toward? What fear is it masking? The night makes the symbolic tactile, and your willingness to honor symbols turns them into guides. There is a wisdom to the order of the three movements: stillness, prayer, remembrance, because each one trains a different faculty. Stillness steadies the gaze of the heart. Prayer tunes the body into reverence. Remembrance refines the inner ear to catch the subtler music. In the language of Ibn Arabi, these faculties meet in the Barzakh isthmus, where spirit and sense kiss without collapsing into each other. You are not trying to fly away from the world. You are becoming porous to the real within the world. In that porosity, even the tick of a clock can become dhikr, and your breathing becomes a psalm only the beloved hears through you. Consider a sacred tale of traveling with a teacher who sees beneath appearances. Moses and Khidr walking the shoreline of events, where what seems a break is a repair, and what seems a harm is a rescue. The Quran tells this story not to puzzle us but to wean us from hasty judgment, reminding us that the inner meaning often arrives disguised QP. In your night practice, the same paradox appears. A distraction may protect you from pride. A dryness may carve a hidden riverbed for a future rain. Ibn Arabi would urge you to hold the form lightly and wait for the unveiling of its meaning, trusting the mercy that threads through what you cannot yet read. Love is the current that carries this entire ritual, and the great lovers show us how to ride it. Rabia al-Adawiyah walked the streets with a torch and a bucket, saying she wished to burn paradise and drown hell so that only love of the real would remain. Her radical simplicity echoes Ibn Arabi's most famous poem, "My heart has become capable of every form. I follow the religion of love. Whichever way its camels take, that is my religion and my faith." Tarjuman Allah. Bring this to your vigil, not love as a mood, but love as a measure. Ask, did I soften toward others today? Did I soften toward myself in the presence of God? When the imaginal begins to open, many seekers worry about making things up. Ibn Arabi helps by distinguishing fantasy from imaginal truth. Fantasy seeks to entertain the self. The imaginal educates the soul. One quick test is fruit. Does what you receive move you toward humility, gratitude, and service? If yes, sit with it. If not, let it pass. Junaid of Baghdad said, "The color of water is the color of its container. Let your container be sincerity, and the water that pours into your night will be clear." Keep a small notebook and title each entry with a verb return. Listen, yields, so that meaning leads and interpretation follows. Your breath can become a map. Ibn Arabi speaks of the breath of the all-merciful unfolding creation moment by moment. Each exhale a renewal. As you exhale the name Allah, the ever-living, imagine the exhale carrying what is no longer needed, and the inhale welcoming what always is. The Quran often calls the heart kalb, a turning thing. Let the breath be the gentle hand that turns it toward the one who turns all things. If weariness comes, shorten the sitting and lengthen the kindness. The night is a mother. It swaddles better than it scolds. There are veils we meet, veils of fear, of hurry, of self-importance. Ibn Arabi suggests we approach each veil as a teacher, not an enemy. Fear says, protect what is small. You can reply, I am held by the vast. Hurry says, earn your worth. You can reply, worth was given in the first breath. Self-importance says, you are the doer. You can reply, I am the door through which the doer works. This gentle judo is the art of the Gnostic, never wrestling darkness head on, but turning it toward the light that birthed it, so it remembers its origin and relaxes. Let's add a practice Ibn Arabi loved, contemplating the divine names as facets of one face. Choose two names that seem opposite: Al-Jalil, the majestic, Al-Latif, the subtle, and alternate them with the breath. Notice how majesty firms your spine and subtlety softens your chest. Then see how they are not opposites but partners in a larger mercy. You are learning to be a barzakh, a bridge where contraries reconcile. This kind of contemplation trains you to recognize the name shining through each moment of your day. So that night practiced fertilizes daylight action. Stories keep the path warm. Bayezid Bastami once said, after a luminous unveiling, I sought him with my seeking, and when I found, I saw that it was he seeking himself through me. Whether or not those were his exact words, the insight is pure. Ibn Arabi. The real knows himself through your polished heart. This is why you need not chase spiritual fireworks. The simplest vigil, done with steady courtesy, may be the clearest mirror. Tonight, let your goal be to become available to love, to guidance, to the quiet correction that writes your course without a storm. Before we close this part, set a small covenant with yourself. Tomorrow, you will let one insight from the night shape one act in the day. If the name that rose was Assalam, be the first to reconcile. If it was Ashashok, name out loud to unnoticed gifts. This completes the circuit between inner and outer, which Ibn Arabi says is one reality showing two profiles. Then write one sentence answering this question: what kind of lover of the real do I want to be? We will use that sentence as a doorway in the next part, where we'll explore endurance, seasons of dryness, and how unity of being transforms relationships and work. If you're with me so far, add your voice below, in the comments. Write "Awaken the Spirit" with your one-word intention for tonight's vigil. Tonight, we lean into endurance, the art of keeping the lamp lit. When the oil seems low, we return to the sentence you wrote. What kind of lover of the real do you want to be? Ibn Arabi speaks of the station of no station, a way of walking that refuses to be trapped by any single mood, image, or state. This is where unity of being ripens from idea into temperament. You are not trying to hold on to last night's sweetness or solve tonight's dryness. You are learning to stand as a witness to both, a quiet threshold through which the beloved passes in endless forms. If you've ever felt that your progress evaporates by morning, this part is for you. We will learn to recognize the subtle fidelity that outlives fireworks. Nearness is not a feeling, it is a fact. Feelings come and go like the tide, but the shore remains. The Quran says the real is nearer to you than your jugular vein. Q 52:16, a nearness that does not wax or wane. Ibn Arabi sharpens this by saying the real looks at himself through you. You are the locus of his self-disclosure, the mirror he polishes by breathing you into this moment. Al-Futahat al-Makki. When the vigil feels thin, take heart. A clear mirror often looks empty until a face approaches. Your task is courtesy and availability. Keep the lamp clean. The light knows its hour. Sufi masters describe two winds that visit the heart, contraction and expansion. Cabd and Bast. Contraction tightens and makes you small. Expansion opens and makes you sing. Both are mercy, though one arrives cloaked. Ibn Arabi counsels not to bind yourself to either, but to the giver who alternates them, so that your trust is in the source, not the weather. On nights of contraction, shorten your sitting, lengthen your kindness, and treat each breath as a small prostration. On nights of expansion, give thanks without clinging, and let gratitude spill into a gentle service tomorrow. This way the path matures from mood to character. Consider Joseph, the dreamer whose visions unfurled across years. His night images were not entertainment, they were education. In the beginning he told his dream too soon and suffered for it. Yet in the end he interpreted a king's dream and fed a nation. Ibn Arabi would say, the imaginal taught him timing, discretion, and trust, virtues as precious as insight. When your vigil yields a symbol, hold it with humility. Do not rush to announce or analyze. Ask which virtue it is training in you: patience, courage, tenderness, clarity. The night's curriculum is subtle. Honor the pace at which it reveals its lesson. Light teaches in layers. The Quran speaks of a niche holding a lamp, glass shining like a star, light upon light. Kados las 4:35. Ibn Arabi reads such images as maps of the heart. The niche is your inwardness. The glass is your sincerity. The oil is your capacity to receive without smoke. Tonight, you may add a name to your breath. Thanyor, the light, imagining your exhale as the polishing of the glass, your inhale as the quiet fueling of the lamp. Do not hunt for brilliance. If a soft glow keeps you tender, that is enough. Love prefers steady embers to brief blaze. On the path there is a famous caution told of Abd al-Qadir al-Jilani. In the solitude of night he heard a voice, "I have made lawful for you what I made unlawful for others." He replied, "Begone, enemy of God." And the voice admitted it was a deception. Why did the saint discern the trap? Because true unveiling never cancels courtesy, humility, or the law of mercy. Ibn Arabi's adab is similar. Weigh every inner flash against the measure of compassion, wisdom, and service. If your experience excuses you from love, it is not from the real. If it deepens your responsibility to love, receive it gratefully. Unity of being becomes most visible in relationships and work. The Sheikh al-Akbar teaches that the perfect human is to the cosmos as the spirit is to the body, al-Futahat, animating forms with meaning without erasing their uniqueness. Practice this tomorrow. In conversation, listen for the name shining in the other al-Hakim when wisdom speaks. As Abba, when someone struggles, Ar-Rahim, when gentleness appears. At work, let Al-Adl steady your boundaries and Ar-Rahman soften your tone. You become a barzak, a bridge where opposites reconcile. Clarity without harshness, tenderness without collapse. This is not pretending, it is perceiving rightly. And when the night plunges you into a depth that feels like drowning, remember Jonah's prayer from the whale's belly, "There is no God but you, glory be to you." Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers. Q 21-87. Ibn Arabi would call this the adab of the abyss, not panic, not self-defense, but surrender and recognition. In your vigil, if an old sorrow surfaces, meet it with Jonah's rhythm, affirm the one, praise the one, own your part. This triad breaks the spell of self-absorption and opens a current of rescue. Often the way out is not up, but through the real accompanying you as you pass. Make endurance practical. Choose a sustainable cadence, perhaps 2 nights on, 1 night resting, or a shorter vigil on weekdays and a deeper one on weekends. Remember the breath of the All-Merciful, each inhale a gift, each exhale a letting go. Keep your notebook honest but light. Record not only insights, but acts of love you enacted because of them. The goal is embodiment. Ibn Arabi likens the realized person to rain. Wherever they pass, life sprouts. Let your ritual become weather that greets your family, colleagues, and neighbors with quiet refreshment. We close this part with a promise and a preparation. The promise: the more you return to the night with courtesy, the more daylight becomes translucent. The preparation: in the final part, we will braid everything together, love as knowing, unity as service, the imaginal as creativity, so that your whole life becomes a sanctuary. Bring one question to the next vigil about your work or relationships. We'll show how to read it by the names and respond with wisdom. If this journey is nourishing you, tap subscribe so you don't miss part 4 and so this circle of seekers grows. Tonight, the ritual becomes a life. You have learned to prepare a corner of darkness, to stand, to bow, to sit in remembrance, to receive the imaginal gently. Now we braid these threads into a single rope you can hold in work, relationships, solitude, and noise. Ibn Arabi says there is no repetition in the divine self-disclosure, each moment unveils a new face. So our aim is not to freeze a luminous night, but to grow a luminous temperament. We are after a way of being that carries the fragrance of the vigil into the marketplace, the kitchen, the meeting, the street. This is the night you stop visiting your soul and begin living from it. This is the hour you become the sanctuary you once had to build. The Quran praises the quiet hours because the word is steadier and the heart more aligned there. Like a river at dawn reflecting the sky without ripples. Q 73-6. Let the river teach you how to walk the day. Before you step into emails or obligations, pause for 10 breaths and remember last night's name. If it was Aramon, Let that mercy soften your first sentence to the first person you meet. If it was Al-Hakim, let wisdom temper your haste. These are not performance notes. They are fidelity to what you already tasted. The night hands you a key. Your morning uses it. Ibn Arabi's unity of being is not a slogan. It is a craft of perception. When you sit in silence, you are training a gaze that recognizes the one appearing in many faces without dissolving their differences. This is why the Sheikh Al-Akbar calls the realized person a barzakh, a bridge that keeps the shores connected while honoring their edges. Al-Fitah at Al-Makiyah. Practice this today in small ways. Listen to a colleague until you can name the name that shines through them. Pause in conflict until you can feel the mercy pulsing under the heat. There is no repetition in the unveiling, so do not demand old sweetness. Greet today's form of the beloved with fresh courtesy. You are polishing a mirror that can welcome any light. Sufis say, the little that continues beats the much that interrupts. Set a cadence you can keep up. Modest night watch most days, with a deeper sitting once a week. Keep your notebook simple. One line of gratitude, one name, one act of service you will try tomorrow. In the evenings, tidy your prayer space as if preparing a guest room. You're welcoming the friend. If life throws a storm, illness, grief, a child's need, shorten the form but keep the thread. Ibn Arabi writes that the realized carry their sanctuary with them. Let yours be portable, tucked in your breath, ready in your palm. Let the prophets remind you that night is a place of ascent. The night journey began in darkness and rose toward a horizon beyond horizons. Yet the prophet returned to the city before dawn to serve again, teaching us that true elevation sends us back to earth with gentler hands. Q17:1. Your inner mirage follows the same arc. Rise in meaning, return in mercy. If a symbol visits you, the ladder, the lamp, the dawn, ask how it wants you to serve after sunrise. Maybe it asks you to call your mother and listen twice as long. Maybe it asks you to forgive a debt, or to stop when you habitually push. The highest flights end in simple kindness. The imaginal is a school of creativity in service of love. If you are an artist, let the night plant a seed for your craft and water it without vanity. If you design, manage, teach, or heal, let the names shape your method. Adl as clarity of process, Arof as softness of tone, Al-Basit as generous spaces in your schedule, Al-Kobit as wise boundaries. Ibn Arabi teaches that meanings seek forms. Offer them forms that help people breathe. Do not fear the ordinary. The greatest saints turned markets into monasteries by the way they weighed grain, greeted strangers, and returned change. Love is knowledge in Ibn Arabi's Path Doc, a tasting that outstrips abstractions. He writes in the Fuses al-Hikam that the perfect human is the eye through which the real beholds his names. Love is that clear seeing. Remember his famous verse from the Tarjuman al-Ashwaq, my heart has become capable of every form. I follow the religion of love. Make your heart capacious in practice. When you feel aversion, expand a little instead of contracting. When you feel superiority, bow inwardly until gratitude loosens your spine. When you feel shame, let Ar Twab, the oft-returning, turn your blame into a step toward home. Love is not an indulgence here. Love is epistemology. Obstacles will still arrive. Dryness, doubt, distraction, even the subtle pride of I keep a vigil. Treat each as a messenger. Dryness asks for gentleness and steady drops. Doubt asks for honest questions brought into the night without performance. Distraction asks for returning, again and again, until returning becomes joy. Pride asks for a small hidden service done without witness. Ibn Arabi's adab is to weigh every state by its fruit. Humility, clarity, compassion. If it bears these, let it ripen. If it doesn't, let it fall. There is no repetition in the unveiling, but there is repetition in courtesy. Practice it gladly. Now bring the names to your hardest places. In conflict, breathe al-halim, the forbearing, until your tongue cools. When boundaries are needed, breathe al-adl, the just, and speak cleanly without spikes. When you want to give up, breathe as-sabr, the patient, and make one next right move. When the opening comes, be a door for good, remembering that God loves the doers of beauty and excellence. Masinin, Q22 195. You are not trying to stage holiness. You are learning to recognize the real moving through your ordinary life and to cooperate. Here is your final arc for 7 nights. Night 1. Set intention and simply sit with a name that calls you. Night 2. Add 2 gentle cycles of prayer. Night 3. Begin the imaginal softly. Write 1 symbol without analysis. Night 4. Bring 1 question about work or love. Listen for a name. Night 5. Practice the 2-name alternation, majesty and subtlety, until you feel their friendship. Night 6. Keep the vigil small, but carry its fruit into 3 acts of daylight service. Night 7. Review your notes. Mark 1 thread that keeps appearing, and make a covenant to walk it for 40 days. This is not a race. It is a friendship. We close with the heart of the matter. You sought a night ritual to awaken your spirit, and the night has been faithful. It gave you a mirror to polish, a lamp to tend, a bridge to stand upon. Ibn Arabi's wisdom has walked with you. Unity of being as a way of seeing, love as a way of knowing, the imaginal as a way of learning, the perfect human as a way of serving. Now, let the dawn find you available. Share this journey with someone who needs a gentle path back to themselves. In the comments, write the name you will carry into tomorrow. If this series nourished you, pass it on, send it, save it, return to it, and may the one who woke you in the night make your whole life a prayer that never ends.